Have I got you all covered up now? Hi, welcome to another episode on Tova Redmo Life Coach. You've met my youngest daughter Alice in the episode called A Little About Me. This is my oldest daughter Elin. Elin is the reason I don't sleep. Oh, and the reason why I always have a lot of laundry. I'm covering her up in cloths here because she does have a tendency to throw up a lot and I don't want to have to give her a full clothes change every time. And she's a bit upset with me. Hello? Hi? Hi, you've not slept well either, have you? Are you tired? Yeah. I wanted to do an episode where I talk a little bit about the real life applications of doing thought work. And one of those areas for me is very much my thoughts and my mindset around sleep. Because I don't get a lot of sleep. No. What time did you wake up this morning? Was it 4 o'clock? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Now, personally, I quite like being up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I do not want company, and I certainly don't want company that screams at me. And she screamed at me for 2.5 hours this morning. Yeah, you did, didn't you? Yes. And the night before that, I was up roughly every 90 minutes helping her out. Throughout the night. I have not had a decent night's sleep since I was 6 weeks pregnant with Elin, and Elin is now 9. So it's been a while. It's been a while. And one of the things that I do often get asked is, oh my God, how do you function? How do you look so good when you're that tired? And I credit makeup to that one. And actually makeup is one of my coping mechanisms for lack of sleep as well. When I put makeup on, I automatically feel a bit more awake. I feel like I look like I have it together, and therefore I feel like I have it together. So makeup to me is, itchy nose, sorry, a huge coping mechanisms against the tired. The biggest thing against the tiredness is simply how I relate to it, what I think about it. And I do remember this very much from when I was still together with Elin's dad, that we both had the same night with the girls, and yet I was up at 4 a.m. and I went to work, and I worked a full day in the office in London, and then coming home and being there for the kids, taking over the care for Elin for a bit, making dinner, quite possibly vlogging and doing stuff around that as well. And then kind of got ready for another night of just no sleep. And I did this. I managed. I was fine. The tiredness didn't bother me that much. The lack of sleep doesn't get to me in that way. And this is why I take the majority of the hospital stays with Elin, because I cope better with the sleep deprivation than he does. And I very much think that I cope better with sleep deprivation because I don't think of it as a bad thing. I think of it as a neutral thing. It's something that is. And there are aspects around it that I think of as extremely good things. And this is such a good illustration of what thought work really is. You have a circumstance, you have a thought about that circumstance, and you have a feeling about it. And if you want to change how you feel about it, you need to change what you think about it, because the circumstance is probably not going to change. So my circumstance is I have a severely brain damaged child who really doesn't sleep through the night. She doesn't sleep very well. As a baby, she slept in 20-minute intervals, and only if her nose was touching skin. My skin or dad's skin, ideally my skin, ideally my armpit. And 20 minutes at a time, and then she'd be awake again. So I had to learn to function on several little 20-minute intervals of sleep. And it was just a question of doing it, of getting up and getting on. And when she was a little bit older and when I was working, she could sometimes go for a few hours. So if it was a night when I'd had 3 hours of undisturbed sleep, that was a good night and I could take over the universe that day. Oh my God, nothing could stop me. She sleeps better now. We do get nights, not often, but we do get nights when she sleeps through. And then we do get nights where every hour and a half she's awake and she needs help. And that is the circumstance. The circumstance is my child doesn't sleep very well. And she has very good reasons for why she doesn't sleep very well. She has severe brain damage. She doesn't know how to relax. She has seizures that wake her up. She has reflux that wakes her up. It's quite possible that she's in pain a lot of the time and that wakes her up. And I can't change that, sadly. I wish I could for her sake, but I can't. What I can affect is what I think about it. And if my thought is, oh my God, I've not slept. Oh, everything's going to be so difficult. Oh, this is going to be such a hard day because I'm so tired. That very quickly becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If instead I think, okay, well, I haven't slept, but what's new? And now I'm going to get up and I'm going to get on with the things that I have to do today. Then I get up and I get on with the things that I have to do. And it really is that simple and that difficult. I can hear you. I can hear some of you right now shouting at YouTube, oi, it's not that simple. And I really understand it because it's very hard to change something that you believe in. And if you believe that you're tired, and if you believe that being tired is a problem, then you're going to find that very difficult to change. And the next thing I can hear you screaming is, what do you mean I believe I'm tired? I am tired. I've slept 1 hour. I am tired. It's not a belief. Yeah. But again, if you believe that that 1 hour sleep is a problem, that is a belief. And that is a belief that you can change. I'm not going to say that each and every one of you who is saying I've had 1 hour sleep is a liar, because I know for a fact that there are some of you who have not had more than 1 hour sleep, if that. But I also know that it's very easy to make the lack of sleep bigger than it is. And to say I've only had 1 hour sleep might actually be more like 4 hours sleep. And if you start actually being really honest with yourself with how much rest you're getting and how much sleep you're getting, you may very well find that you're getting more than you like to say. Sorry, that's the tough love. You are allowed to shout at your computer or your mobile phone or your tablet. Please don't throw it in the wall. It's expensive to replace. But yes, you are allowed to shout at it and call me all the names under the sun because I have the bloody nerve to say what I'm saying. Because I really truly get how frustrating it is when you never ever feel that you get any sleep. But how do you change your beliefs around it? If you truly believe that lack of sleep is a problem, how are you going to change it? If you truly believe that you're not getting at all anywhere near the amount of sleep that you need, how are you going to change your belief around it? And well, one way of doing it is to decide what you want to believe instead and then practice that belief. Now, that can be in the form of, I get the amount of sleep that I need. But if you truly believe that you don't get the amount of sleep that you need, it's going to be very hard to believe the thought that you do. And it might be easier to build up to that thought with smaller step practice thoughts along the way. Like, I've not had as much sleep as I want, but I've had a bit more than I like to admit. Could be one such practice thought. Or I've not slept much, but it doesn't have to be a problem, is a practice thought. One that I used so much when I learned to deal with the sleep deprivation was, not everybody needs that much sleep. Not everybody sleeps 7 hours a night, which is what public health wants us to believe we have to do in order to stay healthy. And I don't think that is healthy. I think that For those of us who are by necessity sleep deprived because of our caring responsibilities, being constantly force-fed with this idea that 7 hours of sleep is the holy grail, or else you're going to die of all of these horrible diseases because it impacts your health so badly. I just don't think that is healthy. One of the things that I constantly ask when this comes up is, well, tell me what is worse for my health. Is it worse for my health to sleep less than 7 hours a night, or to constantly worry about just which sleep deprivation disease is going to get me if I don't? And I think the constant worry is worse. I really do. I don't think it helps me at all to worry about if I'm going to get high cholesterol levels, heart attacks, and whatever else it is that you can get. I don't even know anymore because I just tend to swear a lot when I see these articles. And just accepting that not everybody needs 7 hours of sleep. We know that this is a fact. We know that there are people who sleep 3-4 hours a night and who do perfectly well on it, even without having responsibilities for a disabled child to look after. And if they can function on that, if they can even thrive on that, well, that is a little piece of evidence against that you can't. A little piece of evidence that says, actually, you can too. There is another really interesting piece of evidence that says that all of these stories around sleep might not actually be as true as mainstream media like us to think. Anthropologists are suggesting to a larger and larger extent that humans are evolved to do something called biphasic sleeping. Biphasic means, well, in 2 parts. And that early humans slept for a few hours and then got up for a few hours to do things and then slept for a few more hours. And I think this one is so interesting, and it's one that I cling to on a difficult night when Elin is really struggling to settle herself back to sleep, and I'm up for 2 hours trying to help her relax and calm down and feel safe and secure enough to drift off again. I go, biphasic sleep. Early humans. I've slept for a few hours. Right now I'm up and I'm doing other things in the middle of the night for a few hours, and then hopefully I'm going to get a few more hours sleep after she's gone back. We still have societies in this world with biphasic sleeping. If we look at Spain and the siesta, for example, that is a form of biphasic sleep that we are still involved in as humans, as modern humans. I think another thing that often comes up in sleep advice that I think is extremely unhelpful, and feel free to contradict me, with facts on this one, but is this, have you ever heard that you can't catch up on sleep? Where you have sleep advice that says, don't try to have a nap in the day. And I've heard a lot of sleep advice saying, don't nap during the day. And one of the things that is said in that is because you can't catch up on sleep. The important thing is to sleep at night. I mean, that's not helpful for anyone who's a shift worker either, is it? If I don't get any sleep at night, what the is wrong with me grabbing a 20-minute nap in the afternoon or even in the morning if I can? Right? I feel better for it. No, a 3-hour nap is probably not helping me personally, because I tend to wake up from one of those and feeling like an absolute zombie and then really struggle to sleep at night because I've slept too much in the day. But a 20-25-minute nap during the day when I've had a really bad night, yeah, that works. It really helps. And you know what else? Even if I can't nap, and when I worked in the city I certainly couldn't lay down and snore under my desk, but I could walk away for a little bit and meditate. And even that, a 10-minute meditation practice is actually as good as, if not even better than, having a nap. It just really helps your brain switch off for a bit, reset it, and then re-energize it. And I think that is super important. So I don't sleep as well as mainstream sleep advice claims that I should do. That is very much a circumstance. I do not get 7 hours of undisturbed sleep at night, or even 7 hours of sleep at night. Even when Elin isn't here, Elin's dad and I, we co-parent, so there are nights when she's not here. Even when Elin's not here, I still don't get that sleep because I am so conditioned to her needs that I wake up regardless. Her entire life, I have woken up in the middle of the night to help her. And so even if she's not here, and I logically know she's not here, I will wake up because my brain goes, right, it's around this time that Elin needs you. And I'm awake. Or better yet, Elin's "I've just had a seizure and I'm very uncomfortable" scream is the same pitch as an ambulance driving past in the distance. And I live on the road to the hospital. So if an ambulance goes by and it has the sirens on, I wake up. And I'm halfway down the stairs to help Elin before I realise that Elin is not even here. I'm so conditioned into this. And again, I choose to think that that is not a problem. It is not a problem that my brain wakes me up to care for my child. That is a beautiful and a wonderful and a fantastic thing. It is not a problem that I don't get as much sleep as I would like, because I am looking after my daughter and I'm making sure that she's safe and healthy and relaxed. That is not a problem. When Elin is in hospital, I can go for over 24 hours. I very often do. If she's in crisis in hospital, I'm not taking a time out to have a nap or any form of sleep. I am there caring for her, and that is not a problem, and I know I can do it. Other bits of evidence to the contrary that I have collected, so bits of evidence that I don't need as much sleep as these sleep advice articles tell me I do, is that I know I function on this. I have brought complex projects to successful close on next to no sleep. I know I can do that. I have held down a full-time job on less than ideal sleep. I know I can do that. I am studying and starting a business and vlogging on less than ideal sleep. I know I can do that. All of these are pieces of evidence to the contrary. I can solve really quite complex problems on less than ideal sleep. I know I can. I've seen me do it. I experience me doing it every day, which means that the lack of sleep isn't that big a problem. And I have also observed myself, because when you do thought work, you become very aware of your own thinking and how it affects you. And I have observed myself on days when I've gone, oh my God, that's been a bad night. Oh, I'm so tired. And I feel so tired when I do. I feel exhausted. If I focus on how little sleep I've had, I am shattered. If I one day believe that the lack of sleep is a problem, then it is a problem and it affects everything I do. I become clumsy, I become less capable of dealing with things, I'm less resilient, all of those things, because I believe that the lack of sleep is a problem. But on days when I don't believe the lack of sleep is a problem, even if all I've had is a couple of hours, but I choose not to believe that that is an issue, then I manage absolutely fine. And that is really truly the power of thought work. How our thoughts, how we choose to view the world and our circumstances within it, how we choose those things affect how we feel about it, and it affects how we act and behave accordingly. And it's not a one-off thing. It's not one day of thinking, oh, you know what, this lack of sleep is not a problem, and then off we go and we're happy ever after. It is an everyday thing. It is deliberately and consciously choosing every day not to see the lack of sleep as an issue. So thought work is a constant ongoing thing. It is constantly choosing how you want to see the world and your circumstances, how you want to react to them, what you want to think about them. How are you coping with your sleep deprivation? How bad is it affecting you? How annoyed are you with me right now? I am curious to find out, so please do share in the comment box below your thoughts around what I've been talking about today and your ideas around how to deal with the lack of sleep. Thank you so much for watching. See you again very soon.